Big time news came out yesterday that the new Ravens offensive coordinator will be Todd Monken, who is leaving Georgia. He is one of the typical passing game coordinators. He's a pass heavy coordinator. And you look at the years of Greg Roman, those are offenses, whether from Buffalo and his time as an assistant in the past, were run heavy. So a total 180 here by the Ravens. And this offseason, they are seventh in cap space of $41 million, but Lamar is going to be worth $41 million for the next 4 to 6 seasons. So the biggest question, the looming question with this team is number one, do you get the deal done with Lamar Jackson? And then with really no cap space at all left over, what's going to happen here to guys like Marcus Peters and Justin Houston, who are pretty key free agents in 2023?
I think this is a huge offseason for the Ravens. I mean, coming off of a season where Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley had to play a playoff game for you, that's not exactly what you're hoping for. You have an MVP in Lamar, and there's, I'm not gonna presume, but some people say, had he had his contract done, he's probably out there playing that playoff game. Don't know if that's necessarily true, but all in all, you have to get this contract done. That's your number one priority because one, nobody's going to Baltimore if you don't have Lamar there. Nobody's signing there. You're starting from scratch if you're getting rid of him. Sure, you could get a glutton of draft picks and maybe some NFL ready talent, but if you don't have that guy under center, you're not competing. So first and foremost, you have to sign Lamar Jackson. Second, you have to find some way somehow to elevate that offense. I always believe the Baltimore defense is going to be there. For some reason, as long as Harbaugh's there, I believe that they'll have a defense that can contend and compete. If you cannot get Lamar Jackson a receiver, and I understand some receivers may be hesitant to go there because of that run heavy style offense. But if you get somebody that can buy into that, if you get somebody that, like, if you draft a guy like Zay Flowers, if you make a trade for a DeAndre Hopkins, that can instantly elevate your offense. And then on top of that, with Duvernay and Rashad Bateman, right there, now you have an elite receiving core immediately. You have to get some offensive talent to surround Lamar Jackson. No more with just Hollywood Brown and the rest of the crew. No more just, your running back being the best player on the offense. No, you got to get some weapons there on the outside. Honestly, I think who's his best receiver that he's ever had outside of Hollywood? Is it
Well, outside
Crabtree?
of Mark Andrews, tight end,
Outside of Andrews, is it Crabtree in his rookie year when he came in?
him or Hollywood a year ago. Hollywood a year ago, 1,000 plus yards, 140 catches or targets, 100 some odd, 110 receptions.
No, outside of Hollywood, outside of Andrews, you can't.
Yeah, I mean,
There is.
Um,
you're pulling teeth here. It would probably be Crabtree. It's the only other guy.
Yeah.
Willie Snead.
um, for me personally, this is how I would look at it. And I'm going to look at it as the Ravens organization because this is just how I've been thinking about it. If I was a Ravens organization, I'd be doing kind of exactly what they're doing, which is Lamar, you're gonna accept the deal that I'm offering you because I'm not gonna go any higher because I think that their worries are very valid. Their worries are, you know, injuries. How long can he be sustained even for a single season? He's shown that he gets hurt towards the later end of the season. And can he be a consistent thrower of the football at the highest level? Those are valid concerns. So if I'm the Ravens, I basically say, Lamar, you sign the contract we offer you, or they can't trade them, right? Or do they technically own his rights that they can do like a kind of sign and trade, I guess. I don't know if that's more NBA. Can they do that in the NFL?
It's tough. You'd have to negotiate an extension and then move him.
Yeah, I think they can do that. I'm not
What are
sure.
you getting for Lamar?
Well,
if
you're
that
getting
happens?
probably what they want, I think, starts 3 first-round picks.
And they will never get that from Lamar.
I think that there's a sucker out there that will give it to him. You don't think the Titans?
I have my own opinion, but continue.
Well, remember, it's not just 3 first round picks. It's 3 first round picks plus $240 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if you're willing to dive in and drop 3 first-round picks, I think you're willing
Yeah,
to pay
you have to pay.
$50 million. So yeah, I that's where I stand on that. If I'm the Ravens, and you know what? If I can negotiate that trade, and let's say I only get 2 first-round picks and maybe a pretty good player or something, and maybe a third or whatever, I'll take that. I'll take it because I do believe that there is a ceiling with Lamar, and I don't think that you can win a Super Bowl with him unless you surround Lamar. Me and John had this conversation last episode. Unless you surround Lamar with the type of talent Jalen got this year, you're not winning a Super Bowl with that kind of quarterback. And guess what? There's no way you can surround that Lamar Jackson with that talent if you're paying him $240 million plus. This is it. It's just not possible. So that's where I stand on it.
I'm not fully guaranteeing Lamar.
Yeah.
For the last and let me repeat that. I am not fully guaranteeing Lamar a contract because the last 2 years, the guy's been hurt in December. If Lamar needs everything to win, a great offensive line, good receivers, and a good enough defense, and he's making $220 million, he can't get all of that. So you pick your poison here. You look to get a quarterback that, hey, look, yeah, new offensive coordinator, new system, will be cheap enough on a rookie contract to give him what that guy will need, or you pay Lamar and deal with the reality you are guaranteeing a top 5, top 3 contract, the biggest contract in football to an average thrower of the football that can't stay healthy and has 1 playoff win. And that probably won't change if he's making more money than this rookie contract. I think the Ravens have handled this well. I mean, Roquan Smith was fantastic for them in the season. Now, do I agree fully with paying the best linebacker $100 million? That's the eye of the beholder. But I do know with Lamar Jackson, what has he really given you outside that MVP season where he had everything? And it's not a shot at a former MVP. It's acknowledging we've probably seen the best years of Lamar in his age 26 season. And if you give him this fully guaranteed deal, as we've seen with many quarterbacks that get that second contract that rely on the athleticism, in due time, while Lamar can have 1 or 2 good seasons, the back end 3 years of that deal, that could be pretty bad if he's missing half the year and just like the 12th best quarterback in football, which is what he has been when he's dealing with these injuries the last 2 years.
Okay, injuries aside.
No.
Actually,
this is an asset. This is an asset.
No, you're right. Let me not say that. If Lamar's on the field for that playoff game against the Bengals, they win.
Yeah, big time.
They win. So the concerns of
injured Lamar or fully healthy Lamar.
I even think an injured Lamar wins that game. I
tend to think because I always I understand where you're coming with the what ifs and stuff. It's just if you add a Lamar to that team, I think that the Bengals obviously play a completely different game and their game plan is different. It's just the whole game basically is turned on its head and they play a completely different game. But I see where you're coming with it, Justin.
Yeah, but I'm just you slide in Lamar. I feel like they're in a much better position to win that game. As close as that game was, I do believe the Ravens are much better than people actually get to see because of the injuries. John, you said if you need everything around him to be good for him to succeed, kind of like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I don't necessarily say it has to be up to par with that. All I'm asking for is just a little bit of talent on the outside to make passing more of a concern for defenses. When you got receivers like Bateman and Duvernay who aren't consistent, granted Bateman is still young and still getting his feet wet in the NFL. He was injured this year, so he couldn't play his full second year. They're not going to respect your passing game. You don't got nobody out there that fears they're afraid of. They can press them. They're not afraid that they're going to break that coverage. No, they're just going to worry about Lamar the whole time. So if you get yourself that real number one, I think it opens some doors. We talk about all these quarterbacks that get receivers in their third year, like a Stephon Diggs, like a Tyreek Hill.
There's just one problem, Justin. When they extend Lamar, they'll have $0 in cap space,
and it's
very little.
Okay, so if you're the Ravens GM, what would you rather do?
You notice something with all those quarterbacks. So Joe Burrow, rookie contract. He got Jamar and T on the rookie contract. Tua, rookie contract, helps you get Tyreek. Look at Jalen Hurts, rookie contract, AJ Brown. All of those quarterbacks, Josh Allen that gets Stephon Diggs, are on small rookie contracts, rookie scale. They're not making $200 million. They're also in the second, third years. No, Lamar's in the sixth year. He had Marquise Brown last year. Marquise was a top 10, top 15 receiver, top 10 stretch, top 15, top 17. And we saw with Lamar, what was the Ravens' downfall? It was really his health, right? They fell off a cliff once he got injured. And so if this is the asset I'm taking on, I am shorting Lamar Jackson because I see where this is going. And we have seen this in the past. Look, Father Time's going to come sooner for these quarterbacks. Lamar is a winner. You can't take that away from him. He's had a great MVP season. But when you look at the last 3 years, you can't have both. You can really only have one here. The rookie contract of a quarterback and a great receiver to support him, or Lamar for that fully guaranteed deal and not that receiver. I think the Ravens missed their ball here. Windows are short in football. They're 2 or 3 years.
You're not.
That window just passed.
But it's also the Ravens whiffing on receivers, not getting a big dog in the draft. We've seen big guys come out of the draft.
That is true, and I don't think that they're going to be able to. I mean, maybe they take a receiver in the first round this year again. We'll see if they hit, but obviously the names on the trade block are the biggest names are D Hop and Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting either of those guys because of John laid out the contract situation. I think Brandon Cooks is making 20+ million. So you're not getting either one of those. And I don't think Brandon Cooks is a really good receiver, and I loved him for the Patriots, but I don't think he's going to be that number one that puts Lamar over the top. I think D Hop has a much better shot of doing that. But then
absolutely.
I just look at it and I say, I still don't think that's enough when you look at the division they're in and the teams that they have to go up against, where they have more of a complete team, and the Ravens are still trying to kind of play catch up right now. And I do agree with John. Like, we're not sitting here trying to disrespect Lamar because I absolutely love Lamar. I love the dog mentality. I love the winning nature, like John said, the competitiveness. This guy is a true winner, and he's going to fight you to the bitter end. But you can't be a perfect quarterback. Not everybody's a perfect quarterback. You know what I mean? You're going to have your weaknesses. You're going to have your flaws. And we know what Lamar's flaws are. They're injuries and being a consistent elite thrower of the football. So I agree with John. I think if the Ravens, if Lamar wants too much and the Ravens are like, no, we're not giving you more than X dollar amount. Like, this is our limit. We're not going over that. And Lamar, obviously, it looks like he wants more than what they're offering him. I think it's in the best interest for the Ravens to say, thank you for your services, Lamar. You've done a hell of a job for us. We loved you. We respect you. You won an MVP for this team, but I think it's time for us to part ways, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
That's such a very tough move. By making a move like that, you're instantly throwing yourself in purgatory.
Are you? No, whoa, no, my friend.
You don't think so?
Real quick, before I made an honest mistake.
Because the thing is, it's just finding a quarterback.
So two things. First things up, Marquise Brown talked about before. I said he had 110 receptions a year ago. He had 90, so I made a mistake. But the second thing is, if you extend Lamar, you're going to purgatory. That is committing to a quarterback that can't lead you to a playoff win without all the full 9 yards. He needs everything, and that cannot happen. So unless you nail one of these receivers in the first round with a couple of speedsters, even then, Lamar has not shown to be able to be healthy in December, the most important month of the season, and he is not a consistent thrower of the football. I mean, we look at him relative to Jalen Hurts. Hurts is further along, and he's only in the second team starting. So if you extend Lamar, you're committing to the middle because you can't win a playoff game, and he can't stay healthy in December. And so what's happened? You missed the playoffs one of those years. But you missed the playoffs one of those years because Lamar missed the second half of the season. This year is him in the pocket getting hit. It wasn't even him rushing. Okay? And if you go and take a step back and you move on from Lamar, now you have a young rookie quarterback that maybe doesn't hit, but at least you're not committing that $40 million because once you do, you are investing fully in that quarterback. And we see, like I said before, this asset is depreciating. Because that's what he is. I'm not trying to say that to be disrespectful, but when you make this type of contract, you're not going to want to pay him for what he did. It has to be at large what he's going to bring to you. So it's a tough decision to make, yes, because hitting a quarterback is very tough.
Well, that's why I say you'll be stuck in purgatory, quite like how your Steelers have been in the middle of the pack for the longest now, because you haven't had a guy to elevate you under center. You're telling me if the Steelers didn't have a Lamar Jackson?
Realistically, had a tough time because you're paying Ben $40 million, and that cap hit sunk into the rest of the roster while Ben was average. Now we have Kenny Pickett. We could be a riser into the playoffs with 10-11 wins because Kenny's making nothing, and he's also a young quarterback that brings that oomph. So you see the difference here?
I hear you. I just really don't think that like I said, it doesn't need to be a perfect scenario for Lamar to win a playoff game. I just think you need to do a little bit more.
And this guy's got 55% completion percentage in the playoffs. He's got to get better as a passer.
He does have to get better, and I think he'd be the first person to say that. We're not talking to the wall here. He'd be the first person to say that. It's just if you let go of a Lamar Jackson and you're gonna trade him, if you're not making a power play for one of the big quarterbacks going into the draft now,
Well,
then
now that they have Todd Monken in here, I don't even know if they go with an Anthony Richardson. I think they would maybe hold off because there's no quarterback in this draft to look at for them. So that'd be a good fit. If you're not trading up for Will Levis, I don't even think he's gonna be that good of a prospect. So
Yeah, obviously you're looking to probably get yourself a bridge quarterback for maybe next year or the year after. But you can get a pretty damn good haul for Lamar. I mean, like, the Giants are out there. I just saw a freaking report that popped up that said the expectations is Daniel Jones might get $35 million a year. You don't think that the Giants would inquire about trading for Lamar and pay him that even a little more money and get Lamar instead of paying Daniel that much? I think they would. Again, I think the Titans would consider it. And you could do a swap where you include Ryan Tannehill in that trade and the Ravens get their bridge quarterback. And then I'm not saying he's not taking them over that, but you get your bridge quarterback who can do a fine game managing role until you find your other quarterback.
That sits behind Tannehill for a year.
Yeah.
And Jay Wright, I'm gonna ask you too, Breesy, both of you guys. If you could offer the first round pick for Lamar, let's say the Giants offer their first round pick, would you make that and say yes this offseason?
For one first round pick?
One?
Yeah, one first round pick.
No.
Hell no.
Bare minimum, I'll go 2 firsts, maybe a second or a third and a player, but I'm not doing one first round pick for Lamar. Get out of here. Do you see what Deshaun Watson went for?
That's a great point, but Deshaun Watson's kind of like the Rudy Gobert trade, where we just ignore everything the Browns and the Timberwolves do, and we look at the rest of the league and we say that's the market.
I mean, also Rodgers, if he facilitates a trade, that'll also impact the trade market too.
You are right. I mean, Lamar, you'd think should get two firsts, but if the Ravens aren't going to extend him because of all these concerns, which are huge, it's not throwing the football, it is health, it is long-term durability. That's 3 big X factors. I mean, in the playoffs, he has 1 playoff win. Let's repeat that.
So you would
not
trade,
a quarterback. I want to
Lamar
guarantee 220. Yes, I would easily trade Lamar for one pick. If that were, I would try to get 2. Obviously, I'd try to get 3. If I can't get 2 first rounders and I have a deal on the table, 20th overall pick for Lamar Jackson, I would heavily consider it. Heavily. Now it depends on what the Ravens want to do here at Todd Monken because they add him into the equation. We don't necessarily know what their plans are ahead of the NFL draft, but that'll be interesting.
Grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Well, it's not green right now with Lamar. It's not.
To the Ravens. Dude, it's been pretty green. They've been winning
the last 2 years games. It's been green, huh?
He's gotten hurt.
The last time I played my Steelers, I was there 18 months ago. So clearly he hasn't been too available.
Like, things happen. It's football. You play an aggressive sport. If he comes out healthy next year and he plays a full season, you're telling me the Ravens aren't going into the playoffs?
You're telling me he's playing a full 17-game season next year?
No.
That's the whole playoff point here. This is not Anthony Davis BS. Will he be healthy next December after playing 13 games? What do you think? We'll come back to this conversation in 12 months.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do it because I would put my money on it right now. Right now.
He's never played a full season, Justin.
He will lead the Ravens to the playoffs and they'll win a playoff game.
You better hope if they're going to extend him, he can lead him to the playoffs, right?
He needs to get extended first. But if he's in a Ravens uniform next year, they'll be fine.
Until December comes around?
They should have.
Because, I mean, he's great in September and October, but when it comes to actually going somewhere, bringing the Ravens someplace, in 5 years, we have 1 playoff win.
What's your best fit for Lamar outside of Baltimore? If he's going anywhere.
Tennessee's interesting, but
Atlanta?
No.
They have a real good offensive line. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for one of the best O-lines that can keep him protected with high-level weapons. Atlanta's going to run too much into the ground.
I like Titans. I like the Giants. I'm only picking them because they have 2 elite running backs, and that would just be a deadly duo with Lamar.
I think the Jets, their defense is elite. They have a superstar wide receiver. Hopefully, Mekhi Becton will be healthy. So, Jets are
Raiders would cap. Their cap hit would be insane if they have to pay Lamar.
Yeah. So, outside of that, For the Ravens, is there anything else we can hit on? Marcus Peters, that's a pretty important, notable unrestricted free agent. So
Overrated.
his market value is right around 9 million per season for 2 years. And Justin Houston, this is per spot rack, give or take five. He had a very good season. This Ravens defense is special, and I feel like that's why I was frustrated with Lamar this year. Not at him per se, but disappointed. I'm like, he's injured again because this defense was top five in the league since Roquan came in. I mean, Patrick Queen got much better. And when you talk about they've had in the secondary, their defensive coordinator did a great job this year in his first time with the team. And I feel like the only thing that's held this team back is injuries. Not just for Lamar, but for Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. That's definitely played a role in Lamar having more of these injuries. The offensive line has not been where it was in 2019. You look at the running backs, J.K. Dobbins coming off the torn ACL. I think he'll be closer back to that rookie version of himself in 2023.
Yeah.
That was a mouthful right there. I'm sorry. I know this video was so much about Lamar. That's the only question it feels like with the Ravens right now. But this is a really good football team.
What is crazy, John, though, is that, if you really are honest and look at it, Lamar the last 2 seasons does not deserve $200+ million. His only argument is what he did in his second season and his third season. That's really it. And those were
phenomenal teams.
4 years ago, though. At this point, 4 years ago, like your last 2 seasons, it's called you got to update your resume on a weekly basis and a yearly base. Like the last 2 seasons of, dude, last year you threw 16 touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
No, we have to take into account the rushing, but even still, that's going to play into
his rushing was down too, though.
Yeah,
because he didn't play the games. He missed 5 games 5 last year and 5 this year. He missed. And guess what?
I love Lamar too. I enjoy watching Lamar play, and I think he's a winner. But he's also a player that I'm not I'm not paying the money. I don't want to give him 220. That's my money. I'm not betting into that. I've seen this in the past before.